High school graduate, poor guy will probably be forever alone.
After meeting Jason, a classmate I hadn't seen in over a decade, at a class reunion, I crossed paths with him again during negotiations at the hotel. When I openly expressed my anger towards Jason, he looked down on me and interrupted the negotiations. He began to insult me further, along with bragging about himself. However, with the appearance of a certain person, Jason's expression twisted. In front of us, who were arguing at the hotel entrance, a black car pulled up, and a beautiful woman stepped out.
Sorry for keeping you waiting.
The woman who stepped out said to me,
Huh?
Then, I heard Jason's idiotic voice. When I revealed her true identity to Jason, his expression became even more surprised. And thus, with this reunion once again, Jason would be plunged into the depths of hell because of his own actions. My name is Benjamin Kramer, 33 years old. I run a company called Abington Industries. Simply put, it's a company that wholesales machinery to factories and such. Originally founded by my maternal great-grandfather, it was passed down to my grandfather, then to my father, and now it's my turn as the only son. Since I was constantly told by my father and grandfather that I would be the next successor, I joined Abington Industries right after graduating from high school. To be honest, I also had the desire to go to college, but once I started working, I became captivated by the charm of machinery. Now, I think it was a good decision to pursue this path without going to college. After 12 years of training, I became the president at the age of 30, succeeding my father. When I first joined the company, being the chairman's grandson and the president's son, I was often viewed with suspicion, and I had some unpleasant experiences. However, now the employees appreciate my efforts and hard work, and they support me. Being a president is tough at times, but it's fulfilling days. One day, a postcard was sent to me. I had never imagined that this postcard would lead to such an unexpected situation. When I returned home after finishing work as usual, my girlfriend, Robin, who lives with me, handed me a postcard.
Today, there was a postcard addressed to you in the mailbox.
Upon seeing the postcard handed to me, it turned out to be a notice for a high school reunion. As I stared at the postcard, lost in thought, Robin peered at me with a puzzled expression.
Why do you look so serious? Don't you want to go to the reunion?
It seems like I had quite a serious expression. To be honest, I'm half and half about wanting to go. As I said that, Robin looked even more puzzled. There's a reason why I feel this way. It's because there's someone among my classmates whom I don't want to see. Sure, I'd like to see some of my former classmates if I could, and since it's not often there's a reunion, I'd like to attend. But when it comes to meeting him, I hesitate to mark yes for attendance. The person I don't want to see is a guy named Jason, who was a classmate during my junior and senior years of high school. During my student days, I wasn't particularly outstanding or inconspicuous. I was more like in a neutral position. In contrast, Jason was the life of the party, always a popular kid. Normally, we wouldn't have become friends or even interacted, but as soon as Jason became my classmate, he started to view me with hostility. I've never even had a conversation with Jason, so I had absolutely no memory of doing anything to upset him. Yet, Jason always seemed to harbor hostility towards me. Being forced to serve as class officer or having chores and assignments pushed onto me by Jason and his cronies was an everyday occurrence. If I resisted, he would come back at me with 10 times the hostility.
Pua people should just do as I say. Don't you dare oppose me.
I had no choice but to comply with Jason's demands as he joined with his cronies and blamed me. However, there's one thing I can forgive. It's what happened when I mentioned that I would be joining the company instead of going to college in order to succeed my family. When Jason asked about my plans for further education, I answered that I planned to work, but as soon as he heard the word employment, he started laughing hysterically.
Is your family so poor that they can't even send you to college? That's insane. Is your dad jobless? Your parents made a terrible choice, huh?
Frankly, when my parents were insulted, I felt like my blood was boiling. Since then, I've been avoiding Jason as much as possible up to now. I still can't forgive him for that incident, so if I could, I'd rather not meet him. When I told Robin about my high school days, she kindly spoke to me after a short pause.
I think it must have been tough back then, but since you don't get to attend many reunion, why not go? Besides, Jason is an adult now, so I doubt he'd come picking a fight.
Certainly, Robin had a point. With that in mind, I decided to muster up the courage and mark yes for attendance. On the day of the reunion, I finished work and headed straight to the hotel where the event was taking place. Most of my former classmates were already gathered there, and it had been over a decade since we last saw each other. The guys hadn't changed much, but the girls looked completely different from back then, and I couldn't recognize them at all even when they spoke to me. I tried to spot Jason to see what he was up to, but it seemed like he hadn't arrived yet. According to our classmates, he was running late because of work. Reuniting with old friends after such a long time turned out to be unexpectedly enjoyable. As we chatted and drank, the alcohol seemed to flow more freely than usual. Just as Robin had said, I was glad I decided to attend the reunion. However, the good times didn't last long. While chatting with a few classmates I used to get along with, Jason, who arrived late, suddenly appeared before us.
Wow, turns out you're just a poor guy, huh?
Before coming over to me, it seemed like Jason had already had a few drinks with other classmates and was already quite drunk. Lost in conversation with my friends, I hadn't even noticed Jason's arrival. Contrary to Robin's imagination, Jason hadn't changed at all, neither in appearance nor in character. But I was an adult now, and I responded to his hostility with maturity. Hey, long time no see, how've you been? I responded to Jason's rude remarks with maturity. Then, perhaps my attitude didn't sit well with him, as Jason, with a bright red face and a smirk, said to me,
Got time to sell oil here. You're probably just a high school grad and haven't landed a decent job, huh? Honestly, there's no company that would hire someone like you, right?
Although a few of my classmates tried to restrain Jason, he showed no signs of remorse.
Benjamin.
One of my classmates tried to say something to Jason, but I stopped them. I'm fine, but hey, where do you work, Jason? When I asked him, Jason began proudly.
I'm the sales manager at Harris Industries.
Harris Industries is quite a well-known company, not a major corporation, but sizable enough.
I'm currently a manager, but I'm planning to become the CEO in the future.
CEO, are you related to the owner or something? When I said that, Jason became even more proud.
Nah, not related at the moment. But I'm gonna marry the owner's daughter next year, you know. That's why I'll be the next CEO.
Apparently, he had been set up for an arranged marriage with the owner's daughter at Harris, and things had progressed smoothly, and he was currently engaged.
I've got everything that you can't even dream of, dude. Must be jealous, cuh.
Glad to see you're happy. Thinking it was pointless to engage further, I responded with neutral words. However, it seemed like Jason didn't like my response.
What's with that attitude? I don't like that holier-than-thou attitude of yours.
Inebriated and losing his cool, he suddenly lunged at me. I was taken aback by his sudden move, but thanks to nearby classmates and the organizers, I managed to avoid it. The organizers assured me they would handle the situation, so I reluctantly left it to them. I figured my presence might only cause more trouble. With a heavy heart, I decided to leave the scene, feeling like I was being pulled away against my will. A few days later, a classmate I had exchanged contacts with called me and filled me in on what happened after I left. It turned out that Jason caused such a scene that he was forcefully escorted out of the venue by the organizers.
I won't forgive him.
Jason seemed to hold onto his anger towards me until the end.
Did you do something to him?
Even my classmates were asking me that. I couldn't figure out what about me was bothering him so much, and it was driving me crazy. When I told Robin about what happened at the reunion, she shook her head in disbelief and said,
Some people never change even as adults. It's a lesson to be learned.
Some time passed after the reunion. I received some great news amidst forgetting about that day and continuing with my usual life. The company I had been trying to get a deal for a few years now reached out, expressing their interest in having a detailed discussion with me. It felt like a dream come true, but a problem arose. The issue was that the day of the meeting coincided with my girlfriend's birthday. Normally, one would prioritize work in such a situation. However, it was going to be our first birthday to celebrate together, and we had made restaurant reservations months ago. But I couldn't afford to decline this meeting. While I was fretting over it, Robin asked what was wrong, so I explained the situation to her.
If it's work, then it's unavoidable.
Robin's sad face made me feel really sorry. Unable to give up on either, I was searching for a way out. Then, I suddenly realized something about this hotel. It turned out that the meeting place specified by Richard Winter, president and my business contact, was the same hotel where I was planning to have dinner with her. As long as the meeting didn't run late, there would be an hour's leeway before our reservation time. On the day, I'll arrange for you to be picked up from home and brought to the hotel. Will that be okay?
I don't mind at all, but are you sure?
Yeah, since Richard is my business contact and it's the same hotel, there shouldn't be any problem. When I said that, Robin smiled and seemed relieved. With one problem solved, I felt relieved, but little did I know what was about to happen. On the day of the meeting, when I headed to the hotel lounge, Richard was already drinking coffee. It seemed that he was staying at this hotel because his daughter's family, who lives far away, had returned. His daughter and her family were out sightseeing, and he was planning to join them after the meeting. That's why the meeting was arranged at the hotel. I immediately began the discussion based on the materials, and Richard listened to me attentively. It was at that moment when I received encouraging words and thought things might go well.
Hey, is that you, Benjamin? What are you doing in a place like this?
Jason appeared in the lounge, accompanied by a younger coworker. When I was thinking it was unusual to meet here, Richard asked,
"Do you know Benjamin?"
So, I mentioned that we were classmates.
Wow, even someone like you works in a place like this. I think this hotel is too fancy for you.
Despite clearly seeing that we were in the middle of work, Jason approached me. Richard also looked puzzled as he glanced at Jason. "We're in the middle of a business meeting right now. I'm sorry, but could you come back later?" When I said this to Jason, he slowly took out his business card holder and handed his card to Richard.
I don't know what kind of business deal you're having, but I think it'd be better to do business with us. Instead of dealing with a bottom feeder company like this, you'd be better off dealing with us. I can give a better presentation than a bottom feeding high school graduate like him.
"Hey!" I called out to Jason, but he didn't stop. He continued boasting about how superior he was and looking down on me as if I were the lowest of the low. Richard's expression grew increasingly stern as he listened.
"I can't stand this any longer. It's unpleasant. Today's business discussion is canceled."
Richard stood up with a flushed face, stormed out of the lounge in a fit of anger, and headed towards the hotel entrance. I hurriedly followed after Richard, but inexplicably, Jason and his subordinate followed suit. I apologized once again. After lowering my gaze and apologizing to him as he got into the taxi, he kindly said he would contact me again at a later date. After seeing him off, I glared at Jason behind me. "What do you think you're doing? Interfering with someone's business discussion? What's wrong with you?" I shouted at Jason, but he showed no signs of remorse.
I wasn't really trying to interfere, just thought I'd be kind enough to say hi.
Feeling like I couldn't deal with him any longer, I quickly left the scene.
I am coming to stay at this hotel with his fiancée soon. Today, we just came here for a pre-visit.
Without even being asked, Jason starts starking about why he came to the hotel. I give a vague response and turn back to head inside the hotel.
High school grad loser like you will be forever alone.
Suddenly, Jason says to me with a sneer. Feeling puzzled by Jason's words, he continues, looking down on me.
Since you're headed for a lonely old age, should I ask my fiancée to introduce you to some friends? But well, I guess they'll all refuse since you're a loser.
As I pondered what to say in response, a black car pulled up in front of us. Then, a beautiful woman stepped out of the black car. She was so stunningly beautiful that both Jason and his junior were left speechless.
Sorry for making you wait.
The woman greeted me as soon as she saw my face. I wasn't waiting. Just had a few things to discuss, so we came outside. The woman who emerged from the car was Robin.
Huh?
As we conversed, we heard Jason's voice. I turned to face Jason.
Hey, who's this beauty? Introduce her.
Oh, can't you figure it out from the conversation? She's my girlfriend, Robin Winter.
Nice to meet you. I'm Robin Winter.
I introduced Robin.
That's impossible. There's no way a loser like you could score such a beauty. What are you dreaming of?
Despite being in front of Robin, he began to ridicule me.
A high school graduate loser like you getting someone like her? No way in hell. She's got class and you're just trash. There's a world of difference between you two. She couldn't possibly be your girlfriend.
Pointing at me, Jason continued to laugh, and even I, with all my patience, started to get angry. As I was thinking of a comeback, Robin looked displeased and said,
Could you stop making fun of someone's boyfriend? It's really unpleasant.
Seeing Robin's blatantly displeased expression and hearing her words, Jason seemed unsettled.
Is that true?
Jason asked me, and I nodded deeply. Then, Jason did something unexpected.
Isn't it a waste to be with a guy like this? How about switching to me?
Right in front of me, her boyfriend, Jason, started hitting on Robin. He even said some ridiculous lines like it would be better for her to switch to him from me. Thinking it was way too out of line, I tried to stop Jason, but before I could, Robin responded to him.
I refuse a man as unreasonable as you. You seem to overestimate yourself quite a bit, but my boyfriend is many times better than you.
Someone like him.
Jason was genuinely surprised by Robin's words.
By the way, did the business negotiation go well?
Well, you see. I told Robin about what had just happened. Upon hearing this, Robin looked at Jason and smirked.
You've really done it now. He's a stickler for common sense, so I bet he's really pissed off. It's over, isn't it?
Robin said so, and Jason, wearing a smug expression, replied,
What are you talking about? Since it's just a negotiation with a high school graduate loser, it must be some insignificant company, right? It's nothing to worry about.
With that, he started laughing. I decided to inform Jason he was laughing his head off of a certain fact. The person you angered and made leave is the president of Winter Group.
Hey, Winter Group is our most important.
Well, around here, I don't think there's anyone who doesn't know about it. Winter Group is a company that oversees this whole area, and it's a fairly big company. Moreover, from what I've heard, Harris Industries seems to be Winter Group's most important business partner. If they've angered such a partner, it's going to be quite a problem. Seeing Jason turn pale, I decided to tell him another fact. You've been constantly calling me Pua and whatnot, but what exactly is your basis for saying that?
What are you talking about? Your family didn't have enough money to send you to college, right? So, you ended up just being a high school graduate out of necessity, didn't you?
It seems Jason had a big misunderstanding. He seemed to think I didn't go to college because my family was poor. I did explain when asked that I was going to inherit the family business, but he probably missed that part. So, I politely explained again that I took a job after high school to inherit the family business, and that our family wasn't particularly lacking in money.
I didn't hear anything like that.
Jason looked at me with unbelieving eyes. Seeing Jason unable to conceal his agitation, I decided to ask him about something I had wondered about for years. Hey Jason, since high school, you've been showing hostility toward me, but did I ever do something to you? If I did, I'd like to hear about it. As I said that, Jason started to recount the reasons for his animosity, bit by bit.
It's because Abigail told me she liked you.
Abigail? Abigail was the most popular girl in my grade. I didn't particularly like or dislike her, but most guys seemed to have a crush on her. Jason was apparently one of them. During high school, Jason once confessed his feelings to Abigail.
I like Benjamin.
At that time, Jason was apparently told that by Abigail and got rejected. It seems his pride was wounded by being turned down because of me, even though I'm not particularly outgoing, and he's been holding a grudge against me ever since. I never imagined I'd be the target of his hostility over such a trivial matter. That's just so trivial. It was so ridiculously trivial that I ended up blurting it out without even realizing it. Hearing my words, Jason visibly got angry, almost lunging at me.
What do you mean trivial? If it weren't for you, I could have dated Abigail.
I couldn't help but feel utterly astonished by Jason's resentful rant.
Don't get cocky, you bottom feeder. I'm the sales manager at Harris Industries. You're way out of line for disagreeing with me 100 times over.
Jason glared at me, restrained by his colleague, and spat those words out. Then, Robin, who was standing beside me, suddenly burst out laughing.
So, the sales manager is defying the president, huh? That's incredibly amusing.
Huh? President? Who are you talking about?
My boyfriend, Benjamin Kramer. Didn't you know he's the president?
As Robin said that, Jason's expression once again turned as if he'd been hit in the face with a brick. I'm actually the president of Abington Industries. Inherited it from my folks, though.
Abington Industries. You're kidding. Because that places.
It's no wonder Jason was shocked. Though I hate to brag, my company is considered a major player in the industry, with a scale that dwarfs Harris Industries where Jason works. Though I didn't start the company myself, it has a long history of success. Jason seemed unable to fully grasp the reality that was thrust upon him, freezing in place.
Benjamin, isn't it about time?
Robin said, pointing at the clock. It was 10 minutes before the reservation. You should probably apologize to Richard before you go. I said that and entered the hotel with Robin. The next day, when I arrived at the company, I saw a familiar face causing a commotion at the reception in the lobby.
President.
The receptionist noticed me and was about to say something, but the person turned around and boldly approached me. What do you want, Jason? It was Jason at the reception. Excited or not, he grabbed my collar and spoke to me with a flushed face.
Thanks to you, Richard Winter terminated the contract. You need to take responsibility.
Apparently, the company had received a message from Richard about terminating the contract, causing a stir at Harris Industries. What do you expect me to do? It's not something I can fix. You'll have to deal with it yourself.
If you ask Richard to forgive me, everything will be fine. It'll all be smoothed over if you apologize.
Apologizing won't solve anything. We were having a heated argument in the company lobby, but we weren't getting anywhere.
You're the only one who can do something about it. Hurry up and contact President. If not, your marriage to his daughter will be in jeopardy.
To Jason's statement, I decided to reveal another fact. Even if the matter with President is resolved, I think your marriage to the daughter of Harris Industries president will be canceled.
What? Why?
I didn't mention it before, but my girlfriend is actually Richard's niece.
Huh?
Jason muttered quietly. Robin's dad is also a company executive, so you could say Robin is like a corporate heiress. It's a coincidence, but she happened to be friends with the daughter of Harris Industries president. As we headed to the restaurant, Robin mentioned this.
That guy looks just like my friend's boyfriend. I've only seen him in photos, but they're like twins.
I told Jason that he's engaged to the daughter of the president of Harris Industries. Upon hearing this, Robin became excited and said to me,
Harris Industries. Then, he must really be my friend's boyfriend. Because that friend is the daughter of the president of Harris Industries.
I also thought it was quite a coincidence. After revealing this fact, Jason turned pale and let go of my collar. I think through Robin, the president's daughter will find out about this incident sooner or later. It's only a matter of time before the president hears about it, right?
It's all over.
Jason collapsed on the spot. I couldn't let him stay at the company any longer. There's nothing I can do. You're just getting in the way, so leave. As I said that, Jason glared at me sharply, then stood up and delivered a powerful blow to my cheek. Suddenly, unable to defend myself, I collapsed on the spot. However, Jason was quickly subdued by the security guard who rushed over, and he was reported to the police and taken away. I'll make sure to file a proper complaint. Be prepared.
This wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be easy.
Tears streaming down his face, Jason was taken away by the police. Later on, I tried to file a complaint about being punched by Jason. However, Jason's parents came to me several times, offering to cover the medical expenses and compensation, so I agreed to a settlement. Jason's parents are decent people, so it's hard to understand how he turned into such a monster. Due to this incident, Jason was apparently fired from his job, as it reached Richard and the president's daughter. Naturally, he was also dumped by her, kicked out of the company apartment, lost his home and job, and is now going around asking friends and acquaintances for money. One of our classmates who filed a complaint with Jason's parents, so they found him a live-in job, and now he's working there, I heard. However, it seems his parents manage his salary, so he doesn't have much money to himself. Considering he sowed the seeds of his own downfall, I hope he reflects deeply on his actions. As for me, I was able to resume negotiations with Richard afterwards. This time, we were able to successfully conclude the contract, and I breathed a sigh of relief.
Please look after my niece.
Richard said to me. And then, the other day, I proposed to Robin. I had decided to propose once things settled down at work.
The answer is yes.
Robin said, tears streaming down her face. From now on, there will be more to protect, but I am determined to protect them with all my might.